up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. Stop right now. Stop. Everybody watching, before you do anything else, subscribe. Have what you've watched before and you haven't subscribed yet, stop what you're doing and subscribe. Welcome back to the channel. You know the brand PNZ Life Coach, and you know the man, Coach Mike James, and I'm back again with another awesome segment of impactful conversations. I'm excited about this because whether it's Black Business Booming or Impactful Conversations, I always have dope souls that are on here to share and to give insight. And this one I'm excited about because we've been connected, I don't know, maybe a little over a year, if that. And I'm excited because you reached out to me and we was like, yeah, definitely. If nothing else, we could share the awesome space that we both hold. And so the opportunity is here and I'm so excited. So we're going to jump right into it. Without further ado, the first thing I want you to do is introduce yourself to all the people, let them know who you are, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Super grateful to be here with you, Mike. My name is Becca Boston. I always don't fully know how to answer this because I feel like most people answer with their job, but your job doesn't define who you are. So I would say I'm a big-hearted, extroverted, loving, caring, tough love individual who is just out here to help people recognize that, you know, there's greatness within you and that you should let your light shine. So that's
I love
who
it. I love that. And you know, Becca, for anyone watching, right, at this point, anyone who knows me, we're like, okay, yep, okay, I already see why Mike connected with her, because that's what Mike is all about too. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more later in this conversation. But you know, you and I, we met on TikTok, and again, I don't know how long it's been, but it seems just like I've been knowing you longer than what I have. So I'm just so excited. You know, impactful conversations is a chance to really dive deep into impact and all that stuff. So I guess the first place we'll start from the beginning, like take us back on the journey, Becca Boston, your background, early life and upbringing.
Yeah, I love that question. So don't let my last name fool you. My last name being Boston, everybody thinks I'm from Boston. I was born and raised outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a town called Radnor. I have two incredible older sisters that are 7 and 9 years older than me. I have two credible parents that are like my best friends. And I grew up in a family that was super, super supportive of me being a tomboy, me, you know, really enjoying sports, really enjoying like athletic clothes and all of those things. So really grateful for all of the love and support that they provided me. And they also helped me embrace my learning disability. So I do have dyslexia and an auditory processing disorder. I was diagnosed in 2nd grade, and they truly helped me just recognize that it's a difference and that it's something that's not going to, you know, define who I am. They helped me recognize, you know, that there's so much to life outside of the classroom and, you know, diving into the things that I love. So photography, sports, you know, adventuring and being outdoors. So truly, truly grateful for all of the ways that they, you know, supported me within that. And then life got hard as I was involved in a domestic violence relationship. And, you know, I had to take the part of, I didn't speak up about it. I hid the pain behind, you know, a bright smile and outgoing personality. And it was all because I was consistently told that if I spoke up or said anything, that not only was my personal well-being in harm, my family's well-being could potentially be in harm. And that struck so much fear into me. So I didn't speak up or give my pain a voice or anything until, you know, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. You got to get to that point, right? So I chose my heart and I walked out. And I remember just texting them and just saying, I'm done. And from there, tried to figure out what recovery was.
Yeah.
When you're still in the closet about your pain and your struggle, you don't really fully know where to go, and it's not a linear road from A to B. So for me, it was, you know, finding people that I could relate to. And, you know, I knew I was struggling with addiction, with self-injury, and I knew that I had addictive personality. So I started going with my friend to Alcohol Anonymous and AA. However, those didn't really work for me because my addiction, not to put down the addiction of drugs and alcohol, but for me, with self-injury, I could do it at any given place. I didn't need to go to a drug dealer or a liquor store. I
Mm,
needed to learn coping skills within my life. So I got myself into therapy and around people that really, were helping me to build a self-care toolkit and to keep myself safe. So uh, that started, probably maybe 2013, 2014. And then in 2016, I got the opportunity to move from outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to here in Portland, Oregon, where I've been for the past 5 years. And for the first year and a half, I was raising my niece. So
hmm.
she's my pride and my joy. And then, you know, just throughout my journey of starting a new chapter here has been a wild ride at the same time.
Yeah.
You think when you move that everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, but I still had the flashbacks and trauma still packed in my mental suitcase that I wasn't taking
Mm.
care of. So eventually 2020 I started taking action and really putting the work into myself. So
Wow. Well, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes in, impactful conversation already. Interview over. I mean, wow, that's so amazing because, like, for me, um, that's the thing, right? Why I extend grace first, because we assume, right? We see people, we assume that we know the story or why they're this way, but we never know. We never know. And so this is exactly why I have impactful conversations, to give those insights, the things that people don't know, right? The behind the scenes. Um, so you mentioned that, and going back, you talked about that diagnosis in the second grade and the family support there, and even the relationship. So as you think back to just growing up and having that family support, what were some other impactful moments for you, or some things that were impactful even as you look back this day that was impactful for you growing up?
yeah, I think when it comes to, getting the diagnosis of having a learning disability, I think really looking back and really acknowledging and loving the fact that my family has always been able to turn challenges into memories and bring
Mm,
like humor into it. So, one of the early warning signs that, was challenging to see if it was, a warning sign was the fact that my sister Emily and my uncle Mike, I heard completely differently. So I heard Emily as Abby and I heard Uncle Mike as Cock and Nick.
wow.
So there were those two struggles. And, it's trying to figure out like, is this just a young kid thing making up nicknames? Or
Hmm.
is, something completely different that's going on? So I think throughout my journey, there's been moments of just like my family turning in what could be challenging situations and finding the beauty and the humor in it with
Mm,
one another. And then the other thing that I would say that has been really impactful in my life in the way that I was raised is learning that not everything is handed to you. My dad and, other people within my family are very successful, yet I was raised that you have to put in the work. And,
yeah.
I think that is something so powerful to learn, because not everybody's going to be handed a handout for success. There is no handout
Hmm.
for success, in my opinion.
Right.
Uh, and then I think the only other thing is just looking back on my journey is that, all of our trials and tribulations and the things that we face within our life create our testimony, and our testimony can be somebody else's survival guide.
Wow.
So that too is something that, I've really
Man,
learned.
Becca is so dope. Like I just like doing this, just in this moment, I'm like, wow, like so many more layers to Becca. It's awesome. I love the way you paint the picture, the words. I don't know if you saw me when you said that I was writing. I always have my notes ready, because in all my interviews and my conversations, I learned something, right? And
Yeah.
so when you said this, I was like, oh my goodness, challenges into memories. The fact that you had a family to do that, and that impact that it made, turning challenges into memories. Wow. I mean, like, mind blown.
I mean,
So,
we used to do these, we called them, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to share this, but it's so true. So we used to go on what we called like lame family outings. And it all became because we were like, okay, let's go to this museum or something. And it was not fun. Like it was pretty lame, but we created this, what was a lame family outing, into like our our slogan of like, let's go on a lame family outing. It may be really lame or it may be really great, but it's a
Yeah.
memory.
Wow. That part right there, like no matter what, it's a memory. I love that. So now as an adult, right? The adult you and thinking about those things that were impactful. As you think about it now, what is your idea of impact today as an adult? What's your idea of impact? What does that mean for you?
I think it's really taking your testimony and making an impact within one person in a day. And sometimes that impact has to be within yourself, because ultimately you cannot continue to impact unless you are also taking care
Okay,
of yourself.
Becca, hold on. Let me pause you. Someone's walking to my door. They're about to ring the doorbell. There it is. And I was like, it's like, I don't even know what it is. But anyway, so I don't even know if she could see through my blinds and realize that I'm right here at my desk working. But anyway, I'm gonna edit all this out
All
because
good.
that was good. I'm gonna start back at the same question too. I'm just seeing if maybe she will walk away
Yeah.
without me having to get up. Like, you know, when it warms up, that means doorbells and knocks. And, you know, I hate to do the thing that my parents did when I was growing up. It's like, okay, everybody get really quiet, close the blinds. We're not home.
Hide underneath the door so they don't see you.
Oh man. Okay. She's walking that way. I know they probably see me in the blinds. Like, you see my lights and all this fanciness going on. I'm busy.
Right.
All right. Now cut take. All right. Now, so we're gonna go right back to that. So I really think that's awesome, Becca. Like, you know, the things that were impactful for you growing up. So now, adult Becca Boston, what do you what how would you describe impact as an adult?
Whew. I think it is taking our challenges and the circumstances that we've been in and creating our testimony to help somebody along within our life, because we were not handed a manual on how to live life. We are all just trying to figure out what this life is.
Right.
And if we can take what we've learned in our life and share it with even just one person,
Mm,
that can go so far. And you don't know the impact that you're making until you hear other people coming to you or appreciating what you've done, or to see the person just go out and thrive. So
yeah.
I think that we should all be cheering each other along the way and learning and sharing our experiences with each other so we can maybe one day have some survival guide to life.
Right, right. Yeah, like really, seriously, like where is it? Who's working on that? The life guide, right? The manual that we go to
Right.
when this happens, go to page 37. Okay, cool. Yep. This is
Exactly.
that's so huge. And it makes me think of that saying, right? Or the quote, each one teach one. And so, like you said, even if it's just one person that you can share, you know, when you hear that, I mean, when you say that testimony, I hear, you know, turning your test into a testimony. And how can I share that message? And so that one person. And now in my hopes of me sharing that with one person, they'll share it with one person, and we just start this whole chain link effect of awesomeness, right? I love that. I love that idea. So now, as an adult, right, and that impact, right, and even just if it's just one person, what if anything? What is there or anything that you're working on as an adult to have impact on one, two, three people? What are you doing as an adult for impact?
Well, I think the first thing that I've truly had to recognize is that if I want to continuously impact others, I have to consistently be working on myself. And I think
Hmm.
that is something that people fail to recognize, is that like you can't pour into somebody else unless like you've poured into yourself. And like it's constantly like a waterfall in a way, because like, you know, you're pouring into others, but you want other people pouring into you. So like I think for me, I've had to recognize like I'm a continuous work in progress, yet I know that through sharing my struggles or what's on my heart, that it will help at least one other person. So for me, with my TikTok, what I am specifically doing is a lot of people are saying, oh, this hits home or whatever it may be. But what people don't recognize is 9 times out of 10, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need that message. And that's how I also know I'm making an impact, because when I need my own words, I go back and watch my own video.
Exactly. Right. Becca, on that note, Becca, let me jump in for a minute. Like, do you ever go back and watch an old video or TikTok or whatever? Because I've been doing what's called dubs of the day. I do it on my YouTube now, but I've been doing it for years. I started on Facebook, even Snapchat years ago. And so sometimes I go back and look at something or a memory pops up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I said that. or it's like, oh my God, this popped up at the right time. So I love how you said that. Like, man, I'm really, and I shared this with people as well as a speaker, and even with coaching. That's one of the things. I can help others when I help myself.
Yes.
And I share that, and people say it, but I sometimes I say, are you really slowing down to really think about what that means for you? You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup up first, and now everybody gets to overflow, but it has to start here. And so when you said that, I was like, oh my goodness, you're speaking my language. That's it. Like, man, listen, when I'm telling y'all this stuff, it's as much for me as for anybody else, and it's accountability. It keeps me going, right? That. So you mentioned this, your TikTok, right? So let everybody know, which is going to be simple. It's like the Staples button. That was easy. Let everybody know your TikTok.
Yeah, it's Becca Boston 6.
Boom. And with that, right? Because you mentioned part of making an impact as an adult is just if you could reach one person, and the people who reach back out to you and say, hey, that really resonates, or that hits home. So I love your approach too, because it's unapologetically you, and you take here it is, you take your challenges and turn them into memories, not only for you, but for everybody. Like anybody who comes across your post or your page, you could be having the worst day, but just the way it's something about your facial expressions and your energy. It just grabs through the phone when you're just scrolling on TikTok. It's like, oh, wait, Becca, yep, boom. And so it really reaches out. That's awesome, and I love it. So one thing you mentioned at the end of, I don't know, 99%, if not every single one of your TikToks, you have a saying that I think is so amazing, and share that with everybody. You're saying.
Yeah, it's originally a saying that it all started telling myself. It's called "Stay strong, stay you," and it is a saying that I started telling myself throughout the pandemic. I was an essential healthcare worker. I was working, overtime. I was exhausted. I didn't have my outlet of my gym, and I was taking going on a mental toll. And I had to recognize that my strength was at least getting up for myself and going to work. My strength was giving my pain a voice to certain individuals in my life and getting the support that I need. And my strength was, learning to stand on my own 2 feet during that time, as I didn't have some of the support that I needed. And it was also a reminder to stay true to who I am, because, as a woman, I had always felt this need to change who I was to fit in with society, because as a female, like, I feel often we're told, like, you have to put on makeup to be beautiful, you have to have certain outfits or whatever. And, I fell into that trap. However, throughout the pandemic, as I was putting the work into myself, I really rediscovered my 10-year-old self that was confident wearing athletic clothes and didn't care what the world thought. So for me, "Stay strong, stay you" became my saying. And as I slowly began to say it on TikTok, people were like, I like that. And then started taking off. So
Yeah, I love it. So it took off so much to where you took that "Stay strong, stay you" and made a whole freaking podcast. Like, if the TikToks if they weren't slapping you upside the head with positivity and energy and just encouragement, right? Meeting people where they are, if that wasn't enough, a whole podcast, "Stay strong, stay you," as a reminder. So talk a little bit about what you and Monica are doing, because it's been, I guess only a few weeks since I listened to the first episode, that I always go back to the very beginning
Oh
and then I
gosh.
catch up. And you know what? You know
I
what? And here,
appreciate
you know what
that.
though, Becca? Here's the thing about that. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you why I do it. Because when I go back to the beginning, I get the heart of the person.
Yeah.
And you get the rawness, you get the very reason someone started, you get, before they learn all the technical and the microphones record all this stuff. And so I do that and then I catch up. And so just the energy, like in the space that you and Monica share on that. So just tell everybody a little bit about like how that came into fruition, the podcast.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. There's a couple different ways that the podcast went about. I honestly actually had a goal in 2020 to make it on my favorite podcast that I listen to, which is Straight Up by Trent Shelton. That was like my biggest goal. Yet I was also inspired by telling some of my TikTok followers on a live that like, you know, I think maybe a podcast could be cool, but I don't know who would listen to it. You know, all the
Yeah.
self-doubt that you go through when you're starting something new, and they're like, no, just do it. And I was like, okay. So I was doing it by myself in the beginning, and I was like, okay, we're gonna start this journey not knowing like how to talk to myself or considering myself a speaker or anything along those lines. So I just kind of hopped on it. And I was kind of all over the place in the beginning with it. I I specifically wanted a platform where I could record anywhere because I feel like a lot of the times my greatest messages come right after the gym or right
Mm-hmm.
after,
Mm-hmm.
going out and protecting my peace. So for me, it wasn't about having like the greatest audio or anything along those lines. It was like I need to record when the message is on my heart. Uh, at the same time, for me, talking to myself, it's a challenge. I can
Right.
do it for a minute, maybe 3 minutes for a TikTok. Uh, um, and I've improved since having the podcast, but I put the podcast down when I went to go have reconstructive shoulder surgery on my shoulder and put it down for a while. And I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it back because I was like, I don't know if I want to continue on this journey. And at that time, I had met Monica, and she is a beautiful, incredible soul, literally one of my best friends. And in the beginning, when we first met, she was all about supporting me and making my dream become a reality. And I specifically told her, I was like, I am not going to let one of my closest friends light dim. Like, you are going to shine
Mm,
bright with me because two flames shine brighter than one. So
yeah.
I asked her if she would join me on the podcast and become my podcast host. So now we are doing it together. We have just recently started bringing on people. I know we're in the talks about getting you on the podcast and all of that. So, we we're on this journey now. We're up on YouTube as well. Just recently joined. Uh, so
Nice.
so yeah, we're enjoying the journey along the way, which is all you have to do.
I love it. I love that. And it's just honestly, as people watch this and listen to it, I hope that they're getting that message of really the message I share all the time is start with you. You have to get to the heart of the matter of what connects with you, right? Love yourself, pour into yourself, recover from things that we don't deal with, right? And figure out what that means for you as an adult, and then share, give back. You know what I mean? And so what you're doing is definitely evidence of that, and I love it. I'm so excited to just witness your journey as well. So with all this awesomeness that you have going on, take a moment and just tell the audience what's next for Becca Boston. Like, where do you go from here? As I know, the stars are the limit because people say the sky, and maybe it's higher than the just the sky. So, what's next for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody who dreams big, and I feel like I've been given some real big God-given dreams. So I have a lot that I feel like some are like way in the future, yet I know one thing for sure is this year I want to, well, you got to put things in to like the atmosphere and say that you're going to do it.
You
Hold
got
yourself
you got to
accountable.
affirm.
So by the end of 22, my goal is to be a published author. I am currently in the process of writing my book, my testimony, and sharing lessons that I've learned within my life. So that is one thing that is coming up for me, and growing the Stay Strong, Stay You community. We have a private Facebook growing, and getting more speaking engagements along the way. So that is the main focus for 2022.
Love
And a
it. I
potential
love it.
So yeah.
Okay. Look, so a lot of dope things going on for Becca Blossom. That's what's next. I love it. I'm excited. Becca, again, thank you so much for doing this, taking the time out of your day. When people see this, it will be a Friday, but or whatever day they see this, but we're recording this on a Monday. So I thank you for helping me jumpstart my week. I always say that I think Monday is the best day of the week because you get a chance to set the foundation on how you want to build your week. You get a chance to set the pace on how you want your week to go. So I really do appreciate your time today and for just sharing this space with me and for having this impactful conversation with little old Coach Mike James. I appreciate you. So just share with people how they can connect with you, how they can find you, again, your TikTok, the podcast, anywhere else they can connect with you.
Yeah, so you can connect with me on TikTok, Becca Boston 6. You cannot message on TikTok unless you are following people. So if you want to message me, you can message me over on IG, which is Becca Boston 26. Then I have the Stay Strong, Stay You podcast, which is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where you listen to your podcast.
Google Podcasts, because that's where I listen to it.
Yep. So those are the main ways you can reach out. And if you're interested in joining the Stay Strong, Stay You community on Facebook, let me know and I can drop you the link. So
nice. Love it. I love it. Listen, people, make sure that you connect with Becca and let them know that you let her know that you saw her here on Coach Mike James on Impactful Conversations. I appreciate everybody. Of course, there'll be links in the description below. Make sure you connect with this awesome soul. Becca, anything you want to leave the people with?
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you to you. You truly are like such a light. I love seeing when your comments pop up, and we always need that person that we can look to for light when we're so busy being the light for ourselves or for others. So like, you are a light within my life. And just as somebody who needs encouragement, one thing that I've really been reflecting on recently is, don't do it for the numbers or do it for, any of that, because you need to detach yourself away from the numbers because it doesn't define your worth. You define your worth. And you never know who that one person is that is watching your video and potentially sharing it with the rest of the world. So if you're looking to go down the route of being a social media influencer or anything, just do it for you and have fun along the way, and the right people will come along the way. So that's what I would say to anybody who's going down my route.
Love it. You heard it here, people. You heard it. Do it. Don't do it for the numbers. Do it for you. Have fun. And thank you for reflecting that, Becca, because my personal life's mission, I share this as often as possible because I want to put it in the universe as often as possible so it doesn't return to me void. My mission in life is to share my light, love, and positivity with as many people as I can in the time and space that I have. So anytime I hear any of that, that I'm doing that, I'm in the right direction, on the right path. So I appreciate it. Yes, love it. Becca, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you've watched this amazing, impactful conversation and you haven't subscribed and liked yet, shame on you. Let's make it happen. And make sure you connect with Becca Boston because she's out there doing exactly what my mission is. She's sharing light, love, and positivity, teaching you how to stay strong and stay you. I appreciate you, Becca. And thank you, each and every one of you who watch and taking the time to watch this another Impactful Conversations. And we'll see y'all next time right here on Impactful Conversations. Peace.
Peace.